Hello everybody, Brian here back again to look at another GamePro magazine. This GamePro is issue number 58 from May 1994, and as you can see Mortal Kombat 2 is coming out, so we have that on the cover. It says new Mortal Kombat 2 characters, see inside. Also has this feature on the making of Mortal Kombat 2, all the finishing moves, fatalities, Genesis Pro Strategy Guide for Sonic 3 Part 2, continuation of the last issue. For pro reviews, Sub-Terrania for Genesis, Tomcat Alley, Time Tracks, NHL 94 for Sega CD, Tempest 2000 for the Jaguar, I believe, Ninja Warriors, Disney's Aladdin for the Game Gear, World Series Baseball, and more. For previews, it had Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Super R-Type 3, and more. And there's an NBA Jam Tournament Edition, hidden characters you'll never see in the Tournament Edition. So let's have a look-see inside. Here is the Super Metroid ad. Not really what you'd think of for Super Metroid, but I do remember this ad. There's a lamb here, and after playing Super Metroid, apparently it's so awesome. And it is a very awesome game, so I could see how that would happen. It turns into lamb chops. It says, it happens so fast. 1 minute you're cute, fuzzy-faced little thing. The next minute you're served up on a plate with a side of minty jelly. Such is the intensity of new Super Metroid for the Super NES. 6 new worlds of wilder weapons, weirder weirdos, and those ever-loving, life-sucking Metroids. Interesting ad. One that I really remember. Here is the contents. Letters, of course. You have your pro reviews, Genesis, all divided into categories. Contents continue. Sports pages, Role Player's Realm, Liberty or Death on the Role Player's Realm, a Young Merlin strategy guide, and an RPG and industry interview with Alex Jimenez. Fighter's Edge, GamePro Lab, Pro Shots, Overseas Prospects, and Pro News. And here's some more Game Genie codes. Knowledge is power. Here's a letter from the editor. Ever since the issues of video game violence heated up last fall, you've heard a lot about the possibility of a video game rating system. Well, whether or not you like the idea of a rating system, you'd better get used to it. At a March 4th Senate hearing, a newly formed Video Game Industrial Association, whose membership includes Sega and Nintendo, announced that by Christmas, a comprehensive rating system will be applied to all interactive software produced by the association's members. And this isn't just happening in the US of A. About the same time, the European Leisure Software Publishing Association announced a rating system for the electronic games. Legislation is pending in Canada that would turn over the ratings of interactive software to the Ontario Film Board, which currently views motion pictures. The board would be authorized to classify and regulate games based on explicit violence or violent or sexual content. Down under, legislation has been introduced that would put the Australian Film Censorship Board in charge of the evaluating interactive entertainment software. And although the details are not yet clear, the arcade operators and manufacturer associations in the U.S. also announced a rating system that will be implemented for all arcade machines. What does that mean for you? It means that in the future, when you're trying to decide what game to buy or pop your quarters into, you'll have to take the game's rating into consideration. Major retailers such as Toys R Us and Walmart are heavy behind the new system and won't carry software that isn't rated adult-only ratings if you're under 17. Just as with motion pictures, there may be some games you can't buy or rent. So this is talking about the ASRB and all the rating systems that come out in Australia and the PAL territories and such, which back in '94 this was a big deal. And here's the Amiga CD. I don't remember this ad. I never played an Amiga CD. Here's a World Series Baseball ad. GamePro letters. Enough with, here's one hot topic, the reader's response. Enough with the video game violence. I like bloody games, horror movies, and Stephen King novels, but none of them will make me go kill someone. A couple of my friends have been shot by gangs, and our politicians are worried whether or not Beavis and Butthead are bad influences. Stop blaming society's problems on TV, movies, and video games. You don't fix anything with censorship. And here's one. About the magazine biz. I love the pro strategy guides and books you guys have done. How about one for Clay Fighter for the SNES? And here's their response. You read our minds. Now read our May issue of SWAT Pro. That's where we published a big Clay Fighter pro strategy guide. New for NES. For some reason, I can't find any great new NES games. Are there any recent releases that got perfect or almost perfect ratings from your reviewers? And Captain Squeedo says, the highest rated NES games of the last year were Kirby's Adventure, Mega Man 6, and Rescue Rangers 2. Each was singled out in our March Editor's Choice Awards. Cart queries. I recently noticed that on the back of my NHL 94 cart it said, for use with the Sega Genesis or compatible systems. Is this a joke, or is there really a system compatible with the Genesis? Videohead says, as of this spring, the XI from JVC will be available for around $500. Basically, this is the Japanese Wonder Mega 2, repackaged for US release. The all-in-one machine enables you to play Genesis carts, Sega CDs, audio CDs, and the best of all, Karaoke Pioneer Laser Active. It is also compatible with the Genesis. It is a $1,400 Laserdisc player that has a slot for Genesis carts. You could also check the You could also check out Sega's new CDX, a $400 portable unit that plays Genesis and Sega CD games. Here's some more artwork from the readers. And here they're asking, what's your favorite Street Fighter character? And the award winner this month got these Acclaim wireless controllers. Some more artwork. Virtual reality. Virtual reality was really big back then and never caught on. But here's a read-up. I'm not going to explain it, but here's some pictures of it. I remember in the arcade, they were talking about you could stand up in these units with these headsets on and look around in the 3D world. But once 3D gaming caught on, and with the PlayStation N64, people found out that, you know, that's good enough, I believe. And it just never caught on, virtual reality. And I've never seen those virtual reality machines in my arcade back growing up. Here's a Tempest ad, Tempest 2000 for the Jaguar. Hot at the arcades. Excuse me, had to go on there. Hot at the arcades, NBA Jam Tournament Edition. Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. Alien vs. Predator. Power Instinct. Game Gear ad for Aladdin. On location, Williams and Midway Williams Valley Midway Part 1, Mortal Kombat 2. Some early sketches of Baraka. Some characters here. How they came up with them. Pretty interesting. Here's the Mortal Kombat 2 designers team from Clockwise, top left. You have Ed Boon right here. Lead programmer John Tobias. Lead graphic artist John Vogel. Support graphic artist Tony Goski. And background graphic artist Dan Toasty Forden. Oh, Dan Toasty. Oh, I'm sorry, my mistake. Background and graphic artist Dan Toasty Forden, sound composer. Okay. And here's a character who didn't make it. Originally planned as a regular player character, this tiger-like humanoid was based off the Japanese mythological figure Kintaro. According to legend, he was abandoned in the mountains and grew up among the tigers. However, constructing a costume of this magnitude simply wasn't feasible. Kintaro's name and tiger stripes were retained when the new Goro relative boss was created. So there's one that never really made it. Smashing the myth of speed and power, a blast of hot air. The truth is that you could put Sonic on the Super NES and have him race across the screen just as fast. From what I understand, blast processing was just to take advantage of the fact that the Genesis had a faster processor than the Super Nintendo. I'm not going to read this all in all, but this basically talks about like the Super Nintendo versus Genesis and the myths between them. Here's some interesting things. The questions that count. Which system gives you 2 custom graphics processors? The Super Nintendo. Which system gives you 4 times the colors? The Super Nintendo. Which system gives you the deepest gameplay? Super Nintendo. Which system has a black control deck? The Genesis. Which system has a versatile controller? The Super Nintendo. Sounds like they're really ragging on the Genesis here. Yeah, this is just a mock. They're just making fun of themselves here. Saying if speed is all the game has, then it won't be fun for long. Innovative gameplay is a matter of variety, challenge, and depth. It might feel good to rocket through Sonic 2 the first time you plug it in, but what then? And these are actually, I'm sorry, this is actually an advertisement. That's why it's so Super Nintendo laced. This is an ad from, I believe, Nintendo, trying to dispel, because the blast processing was all around then, what Genesis does, what Nintendo don't. This is kind of Nintendo's, it says advertisement right here. So I would think that it's an ad for Nintendo and put in Nintendo's favor. That's what kind of threw me for a loop. Because I was like, why would GamePro bash Sega so much? But no, it was an ad. And here's Sub-Terrania for the Genesis. It got very good scores here. 5.0 for graphics, 4.5 for sound, control, and fun factor all got 5.0s. Tempest 2000 for the Jaguar. Got very good ratings as well. Excuse me, you want to get good? Excuse me. Rebel Assault for the Sega CD. Not very good scores, as you can see. Grindstormer. Another shooter. This was for the Genesis. Pretty average. Well, average is what they say they gave. I haven't played it, so. Microcosm for the Sega CD. The Flintstone, the Treasure of Sierra Madrock. Super R-Type 3 for the Super Nintendo. These are previews. Soul Star for the Sega CD. Here's an ad for the Super Nintendo version of Star Trek The Next Generation. Pirates of Dark Waters for the Genesis. I have the Super Nintendo version. It's like a Final Fight beat-em-up. Fun game. I haven't gotten far, but I played a level or 2. And for those who don't know, the Pirates of Dark Water was, I believe, a Disney cartoon. It might have been Disney. I'm not sure. But it was a cartoon on in the afternoons, I think, or Saturday in the 90s. Mutant League Hockey. I just picked this up last week. Let's see what they gave it. You say, you like hockey, you'll like mutants. You like bloodshed, then this is the card for you. What Tonya Harding is to figure skating, this game is to hockey. Combining hockey with War Mutant League is bloody hilarious fun, but it's no champion. So they gave it 4.0 for graphics, 3.5 for sound, 3.5 for control, and 4.0 for fun factor. And to wrap it up, they say, it's creepy, sickening, it's hilarious. Mutant League Hockey has the most brutality seen on a rink since Tony Harding's tried out for the Olympics. This one takes a medal, just not a gold. Based on a NHL 1994 engine and graphics engine and play control engine. Asterix for the Genesis. Tomcat Alley for the Sega CE. The Ninja Warriors for the Super Nintendo. Never played this game. Wasn't until recently where I've been hearing about it and saw it in this magazine that I went to look online to see if I could get it, and it goes for really a lot of money right now. So I won't be picking it up anytime soon unless I find it at a flea market. It's a side-scrolling beat-em-up. I believe you can't move up and down. You're just limited on one plane like Splatterhouse. I haven't played it though, so I'm not sure. They gave it about average, above average, 4.5 for graphics, 4.0 for sound, 4.0 for control, and 4.5 for fun factor. They say ninjutsu for a new age. Ninja Warriors is great, but it falls on one difficulty level short of great. It takes a licking and keeps on ticking. Kicking booty, not bad for a bounce. A bunch of bots. Oh yeah, that's right. I guess they're robot ninjas. Flashback for the Genesis and Super Nintendo. I have never played this game. Mega Man Soccer. I didn't really care for this game. I never played it, so I can't really say anything either way. I've been looking for this game, Equinox. I remember seeing it in ads and as a kid, and I'd like to play it and see what it's like. I think it's the sequel to Solstice, if I'm correct in thinking. Metal Compact, Falcon's Revenge, a Super Scope game for the Super Nintendo Super Scope. Sewer Shark for the 3DO. Spectre for the SNES. Time Tracks for the Super Nintendo. King of Dragons. This is the game I really like. Fun to play with two people. Person beat 'em up on the Super Nintendo. It was also in the arcades. They didn't really care for it too much, but I like it. You kind of level up each of your classes. There's a cleric, a dwarf, a fighter, a wizard, and an elf. And you can level them up through orbs. And you can just 2 players at once, beat up a bunch of monsters, level up. And it's cool to see the progression when you level up at the end of the level or with an orb. Your character changes in appearance. Lethal Enforcers. I do not have the Justifier. I'm keep looking for it. I do have the cartridge for this game, and it came in a real big box, if I remember correctly, to hold the Justifier. We own the streets this summer. Super Street Fighter 2. And I got Street Fighter 2. I got Street Fighter 2 Turbo. When this came out, I was like, really, another one? I'm not going to get it, because I could only have so many games a year, so I never picked up Super Street Fighter 2. But I will sometime. Joe and Mac 2, Lost in the Tropics. They say, there's not much to think about in this easygoing game. Just Bop everything in sight, admire the scenery, and have fun. It's a blast in the past. Here's a full ad for Ninja Warriors that was just covered recently in reviews. Here's an ad for Mega Race on the Sega CD. Alfred Chicken again. This is time for the Nintendo. Here's the second part of Sonic the Hedgehog 3 strategy guide. Turn on the technology, the biggest breakthrough in role-playing games since the Dungeons & Dragons game. Interactive audio CD adventure and complete game, new from TSR. Adventure with a twist and a turn, plus a couple of leaps forward. Put another way, a new experience unlike anything you've heard before. Turn the decibels, turn up the decibels, crank up the adventure. First Quest, the new interactive audio CD adventure. So this was a TSR role-playing game based on Advanced Dungeons & Dragons. Came with an audio CD. The Horde for 3DO. I remember my friend had this game. It had a lot of full-motion video scenes with Kirk Cameron. The acting was okay. And it was like I want to say RPG, but I'm not too sure. But I remember it being pretty fun. And I've been looking for this on 3DO. There's only a few 3DO games I really played, and those are the ones I want to get. The Horde is one, and Guardian War was another. Art of Fighting for the Neo Geo. See the price down here. If you can see that, you probably can't for the glare, but it says $239 for that cartridge. So as a kid, I never even looked at Neo Geo because I knew I couldn't afford it. My parents wouldn't get it, so I didn't even look at it. Tory Jaguar ad. Sports pages. I really liked NHL 94 on the Sega CD, as you can see, all perfects. Here's Knights of the Round game ad for the Super Nintendo from Capcom. Another similar to King of Dragons, two-player beat-em-up game where you level up. This time you play as Arthur, Percival, or Lancelot. World Players Realm. Nobunga's Ambition. I could never pronounce that right. Koei strategy game. Liberty or Death. Another strategy game by Koei. Young Merlin for the Super Nintendo. This is their Young Merlin Strategy Guide Part 3. Here's an interview with one-on-one with D&D's Real Dungeon Master. I remember this interview. I don't quite remember the guy's name. Pirates of Dark Water ad. Wario Land, Super Mario Land 3. This is a preview. More Game Boy games. Stop That Roach, Chase HQ2, Sports Illustrated for Kids, The Ultimate Triple Dare, Spider-Man and the X-Men, Arcade's Revenge. Aladdin for the Game Gear. Here's an ad for Joe and Mac 2, Lost in the Tropics. Love 'em or club 'em. Some more Game Gear reviews. Captain America and the Avengers, Cosmic Spacehead, Miss Pac-Man, and Zool. SWAT Pro, Secret Weapons and Tactics. Battletoads Double Dragon Extra Lives for the Genesis. Micro Machines for the Genesis. Sega CD. Sonic CD codes. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighters for the Super Nintendo. Run Saber for the Super NES. Rocky Road for the Super NES. Tasmania for the Super NES. Battletoads Double Dragon for the SNES. Here's a Game Genie code for Secret of Mana. Gain a level after you destroy an enemy. That'd be interesting. Here's a multi-tap ad that was covered in the last issue for it advertises the multi-tap through Secret of Mana. Pro Action Replay codes for Super Mario All-Stars. The Adventures of Dr. Franken. All for Super Nintendo. Bugs Bunny Rabbit Rampage. Sunsoft had the Warner Brothers Looney Tunes license, so they made a lot of Looney Tunes games, and some of them I really like. I like Roadrunner's Death Valley Rally. Played a little bit of Tasmania. I liked what I played. Play a little bit of Daffy Duck, and I like that as well. But I really liked Roadrunner's Death Valley Rally. And Rabbit Rampage had some really great graphics in it. Animation. That's what I remember. They really went really good, all out on the graphics of those games. It really made them look very good. Here's a Fighter's Edge strategy from Mortal Kombat 2, talking about all the fatalities. The jump here dissects like how close you got to be, one jump away, just inside sweep range, how to do them. And here it discusses each one for each character. Mortal Kombat 2 was the one I really liked. I didn't really care as much for Mortal Kombat 1 because I was playing Street Fighter at the time. But Mortal Kombat 2 I did like just because it had more characters and it was just bigger overall. And then I didn't really play much after 2. Hidden characters. I had Smoke, Jade, Noob Saboot, hidden secret codes, ads for playing cards, which were big back then. Playing cards for sports athletes and for comics were really big. Here's GamePro Labs. There's the Pro Action Replay. Here's an ad for Rock and Roll Racing for the Super Nintendo. Short Pro Shots. Genesis, the Magical Quest starring Mickey Mouse. I did not know that came out for Genesis. One of the most popular Disney SNES games is finally coming to the Genesis, and I don't think it did ever come out for the Genesis. So that's an interesting part of history there. It was actually going to come out for the Genesis. Space Ace, Battle Fantasy on the Sega CD. Addams Family Values. Popeye. Knights of the Round. Here's an ad for Shadowrun for the Genesis. Neo Geo Spin Master. Brutal Paws of Fury. Overseas Prospects and International View on Video Games. Dracula X for the PC Engine by Konami. This was actually, I believe, Rondo of Blood. I believe so. Played on the CD. It was a CD game, I believe, for the PC Engine. And Castlevania Crusades continue in Japan, where the series is known as Dracula. Konami has produced a silver disc worthy of the PC Engine Super CD, declaring Dracula X to be the greatest Castlevania of all time. Would be a slap at Castlevania 4 for the SNES, but earmarking X as one of the 10 best side-scrollers of all time is a no-brainer. Says a lot about Castlevania games, huh? The action is a cross between NES and SNES styles. The gameplay is more like the NES cards, featuring smaller sprites, a whip that can't be swung diagonally, and greater emphasis on the supplemented weapons. However, the rich backgrounds and screen-filling bosses speak of 16-bit, and the jazzy, creepy orchestral CD music screams it. Dracula X is a long and fulfilling quest that adds terrific replay value with many paths to explore. Instead of simply choosing a path at the conclusion of the level, in X you can actually find new areas and a new direction. During gameplay, secrets abound and you will want to uncover them all, much like playing an RPG. Playing for TTI to bring X to the US is as futile as asking the Count to spare the neck of its latest victims. Therefore, anyone who plays video games and who owns a Duo or an Engine would be crazy not to stake out a copy of this one from an import store. Ganbare Goemon 2. This looks like the Goemon games, Legend of the Mystical Ninja games. And this was overseas only. Zuko, The Legend of Bishin. Interesting. Zuko is part driving game, part fighting game, and all action. You play as Koji, a Ryza who have a nasty difference of opinion with a game of 9 hard cases. There are several ways to fight this pretty good fight. If you play the adventure mode, you have to drive to work. If you prefer to skip the driving, you can pick one-on-one fights versus the computer or a sparring partner. Hear about Ganbare Goemon 2. Ganbare Goemon may be the most Japanese of Japanese games, with gorgeous Mount Fuji backgrounds, traditional samurai weapons, even ancient Japanese money. Toss in giant robot fighting, and you've got a highly original, seriously entertaining card. I think we got the first one called Legend of the Mystical Ninja, if that's the same series. Legend of Mystical Ninja is a very fun game. Very fun to play with 2 people. With another person, I should say. 3DO price drop. The 3DO company has cut the price of Panasonic's Real 3DO multiplayer, introduced last October at $699.95. The system has been dropped to $499.95. decreases will also affect the price of the Japanese release. The original price was to be 79,800 yen, approximately $712 US, but this was low-ended to 54,800 yen, approximately $500 US. EA border runs meet halfway. In what many industry insiders see as the making of a major software presence, Electronic Arts has announced that it will purchase Borderbrund in a $400 million deal. The merger gives EA the strength of Borderbrund edutainment product line, headed by the highly successful Carmen Sandiego series. It also serves to improve the distribution of Borderbrund's productivity. Sega theme park. In a related story, Sega Enterprises, according to UPI, has signed a deal with MCA to build an entertainment attraction at Universal Studios in Hollywood. Interesting. Project Reality, the N64. Nintendo has announced Nintendo has announced further details on the specifications of its Project Reality 64-bit game system, which it is making in partnership with Silicon Graphics, the computer graphics powerhouse, whose best-known work was on the movie Jurassic Park. One of the surprises is that the system will continue with cartridge-based software. The choice we made is not cartridges versus CD, Peter Main, Nintendo's vice president of marketing, explains. It's silicon over optical. Where it comes to speed, no other format approaches the silicon-based cartridge. That is true. In creating what Nintendo bills as the most realistic games ever, each cartridge will contain a minimum of 100 megabytes of data, 5 to 6 times more than the current SNES games. If you recall, I think Super Metroid was the biggest SNES game at around 24 megabytes. So each cartridge here holds 200 megabytes. So that was a big jump. Let's see, where were we at? Okay. Yet still remain in the same price range as 16-bit cards. According to Nintendo, Project Reality will be rolled out in arcades late this year, with a worldwide introduction for the under $250 home version slotted for 1995. Street Fighter II movie news. Capcom has announced that Jean-Claude Van Damme will play Guile in the upcoming Street Fighter II film. And I love this film. I still like this film. I saw it in the theaters. I liked it then, and I still like it. It's cheesy, it's bad, but it's a good kind of bad. 1994 Blockbuster World Game Championships. Be sure to check out the June GamePro for the official tournament guide to the Blockbuster Video 1994 World Game Championships. Sign up begins May 10th, 1994. I think this is where they had the Donkey Kong competition and Star Fox competition carts at the Blockbuster World Championships, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, and that gets us to the end here of GamePro, issue number 58 from May of 1995. Once again, thank you for watching, and take care, guys, and have a great week and a great rest of your weekend.